Thank you, Kanika. So, thank you guys for coming, for joining, for tuning in today. Like my sister said, I want to talk about mindset. And just to reiterate, mindset is like, I read somewhere that it's like 90% of success is you being able to have the right frame of mind. And so when we talk about mindset, we're talking about your thoughts, your attitudes, and your beliefs, right? Um, you'll never succeed past the level of your personal development because success is something that you attract by the person that you become. And I wanted to start with that quote because it is an ever evolving thing that you work on your mindset because every obstacle that you encounter, everything that happens in your business, you need to be able to be resilient and to overcome it. So today I'm going to give you 7 key practices um, to help you in the morning to get your mindset right. And the reason why you want to do these things in the morning is because you're going to start your day right. You're going to start your day off really high once you start really getting in the habit of doing these 7 things. Okay. And I'll tell you from my experience that when I have these 7 things in the morning, my days are so much more productive. I get so much more done. I'm able to put a cap on fear and be able to proceed and to do what I need to do to move my business forward. And like my sister said, to get my boys up and running in terms of their schoolwork, having the patience to deal with their antics. They are 7 and 5. So I need lots and lots and lots of patience, right? So, the 7 things that I want to talk to you about are being silent or meditating. I want to talk to you about gratitude, affirmations, visualization, moving your body or getting some exercise, reading, and journaling. And I know that you're thinking, wow, that's a lot of things to do in the morning. I know that everybody's busy and sleep is important. I get it. Nobody knows better than me, right? But I'm going to share with you some simple ways that you can incorporate all of these things into your morning to help you so that you can build your mindset up and you can have successful days. And I also want to say that if you don't have a lot of time in the morning, you can start off with as little as 6 or 7 minutes and then build your way up to as long, up to as much time as you really need to get your day going. So the first thing is silence or meditation. Now, what I do is I just get up and I just do some deep breathing and just clear my mind, right? And I just basically just try to focus on nothing, just nothing. And what I find is that when I do this, it really helps me to get centered. It helps me to get balanced. And it sets a foundation up for the rest of my morning routine. And then the second thing that I roll into is gratitude. Like I might even do this. Like sometimes I meditate in the bed. I'm not even gonna lie. Other times I get up and I actually go sit in a chair, and then I roll into my gratitude. I really give thanks about things that are not necessarily so cliche-ish, like, you hear people say, well, I'm thankful for my car, my house, or whatever. And there's no meaning and no feeling behind it. But if you really tap into like how grateful you are for your life, for the things that you've been given, um, I was recently reading this book and it talked about, what you focus on grows. And this is a perfect time in your day to focus on things that are going well in your life. And also to think about things that haven't always been well, right? And to really feel those feelings of gratitude. And then the next thing I do is I get on my exercise bike because I feel like it's a great opportunity for me to get some cardio in. Um, I'm I have an exercise bike right in my room. I throw on my workout clothes. I got them like on the side of my bed, and I then start doing affirmations. So I'm moving my body and I'm doing affirmations at the same time. And I'm not just necessarily just saying, like, oh, I'm rich, I'm healthy, I'm wealthy, I'm thinking about the things that I'm really pushing towards. And like I said before, it's like everything that you give meaning to and that you are feeling that's key, right? That's what's really going to take you from a low state to a high state. Is like the more that you feel and the more that um, invoke those emotions into your morning routine, the more, you're going to really excel. So, like some of my affirmations are really around like things that I want to achieve. And I really think about like seeing myself achieving them. And so then I go into visualization. I visualize how I want my day to go. If there's something major that I have for that day, I'm visualizing a successful completion of that activity. Um, like in it could be major, it could be minor, just like things that I want to get done. I visualize it, and it's crazy because see, sometimes I get so into my vision that I'm like getting ready to get off the bike and just go and do what I need to do. And that's how powerful visualization is. So I already talked about exercise. I'm doing this while I'm exercising. And then the next step is reading or taking in knowledge, feeding your brain. So you want to make sure that every day that you're taking in something that's going to build you up, something that's going to teach you about your business, your niche, your craft. You want to be getting better and better every single day. You do not have to read a whole book in a day. But if you read a page, you can start with 1 minute worth of reading. 1 minute worth of reading is more than a lot of people do. And so don't think about it as being like, oh, that you have to do like all of this work in the morning. Just start off small and read an article about your trade, or listen to an audiobook or a podcast or something to get you going. And this is actually a good time. Like if you're doing what I do, I normally am on my bike and listening to audiobooks while I'm going through this process. And then lastly, journaling. Now, you could journal throughout this whole process because sometimes, a lot of times when I'm meditating or being silent, I get ideas and I get reminded of things that I need to do or inspirations like I am working on a problem or whatever, or I have like this project or whatnot, and it's like I'll get this wonderful idea to do X, Y, and Z. And so I always have my journal next to my bed. I have probably like 3 journals, but I have one next to my bed and I have one next to my exercise bike, and I can just write those things down. And I also like to write down the things that I'm grateful for too. That is like so absolutely powerful. So today I've talked to you about 7 things. I talked to you about like meditating or being silent, gratitude, affirmations, visualization, exercise, feeding your mind or reading, and journaling. So those 7 things, I guarantee that you can get them done. If you chunk them down, you can do them in 6 or 7 minutes. Like I said, you don't have to do one thing and then the other. Some of those things you can do, like the exercise, you can do like while you're doing the other things. And you just watch how your life will start to take off, because once you come out of that, you're going to feel unstoppable. You're going to feel like, oh man, I've already got my exercise in. I got some, I've visualized and I've meditated. And so you're feeling centered and grounded and you're just ready. And I know that I need to be ready because that 5-year-old and that 7-year-old, they're going to give me a run for my money. I got to make sure that I got enough rest. I got enough water. I got enough, got my sneakers on so I could go chase the 5-year-old. And that's just how we do it. And that concludes my morning success routine. Back to you, Kanika.
All right. Thank you, Tamaria. Yeah, that's
Hmm.
awesome. All right. Now we are going to start our interview. And again, I said we're interviewing a woman of wealth. She has a wealth of knowledge on storytelling. And I was a part of one of her storytelling events this past week. And it was a networking event, and I actually connected with some really cool people. It was a different exercise that we did. I'm going to let her tell you about it, but I was just so inspired by what she had done, and I'm looking forward to the next thing so that I can meet some more people and get to know them better. But we've got Anne Bernard here, and Anne is going to talk about her businesses and give us some background on that. And then we're also going to talk about how she's created multiple streams of income from her initial idea. So, Anne, thank you for being here today. Tell us a little bit about your business and anything else that you'd like for us to know.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Kadika and ladies, for having me. And let me just reaffirm what Tamaria said, because all 7 of those things are in my everyday morning routine. So it is a powerful pack way of starting your day. So she explained that very well. And yes, implement those things into your morning and see your life, your business, and everything change. Okay, so my name is Anne Bernard, and I go by the Master of First Times. And that is because my life revolves around the first times in your experience, past, present, and future. It started out. So let me backtrack really quick and say that I am a serial entrepreneur. I did have some massive failures in the past, to the point where I actually lost everything. And if it wasn't for my ability to get back into the Marine Corps and a friend of mine loaning me some money so I could rent a room, I foreclosed on my townhouse. I was out on the street and I did not know what to do next. So I definitely took it to took being an entrepreneur all the way to the edge of it taking me in a very dark place and becoming suicidal in a lot of different things. So it's very important to be part of groups like this and to get the support and to set a strong foundation that is in a strong mindset and a lifestyle that supports what you're aiming to do. So I didn't have that initially. And one of the big things that changed that for me was finding God and giving my life to Him and just learning how to build myself up, and that way that I could build the business that I wanted. But what God ended up doing for me is that He took me on this incredible adventure to where I was having all kinds of first times and new experiences. And that changed my relationship with life. So I'm a type A, outcome driven, competitive person. And I saw life as a competition. And I saw my businesses and everything else as things that I needed to achieve and outcomes I needed to produce. And I was not enjoying life. So, the failures brought everything to a halt. And God took me on this journey to where I got to just live life. And that changed my relationship with life. And I realized that we can co-create with life. Life is incredible and amazing. It's rich. It has a lot to offer, but you have to plug into it for that to take place. And I found myself, like I said, traveling, having first time in new experiences. So when after a decade, I had a blast. But being an entrepreneur, it's my DNA, it's in my blood. So while God had told me to hand it over to Him, after 10 years, He gave it back. And then I thought, well, what am I going to do? And, first thing I asked myself was like, well, what am I good at? What do I know? And at that point, what I knew was how to live life like fully and completely. I'm like, well, what led me there? How did that happen? And then I realized that I was chasing new experiences. I was chasing novelty. I was chasing knowledge and learning. And that's what was plugging me into life. So I created the 365 First Challenge to encourage people to do the same thing, to plug into life through adding first time and new experiences to their lives. This is not a bucket list. I actually don't like the term bucket list. I think that has the wrong focus. It shouldn't be focused on what do I want to do before I die, but it should be focused on how can I maximize what I get out of today. And so, so that the 365 First Challenge was born. And at first I created the website, I created, a handout, but when I kept asking people like, hey, what's the first time, what's something new you want to do? I got a lot of blank stares. And at the time I lived in Germany, I was thinking about, I was moving back to the States. I'm like, where should I live? So I did my research and I looked up the hashtag first experience, new experience. And the one city that kept popping up associated that was Las Vegas. Well, I learned from my other failures that it matters where you are located, depending on the type of business that you want to do. There's plenty that it doesn't because of technology and e-commerce and all that good stuff. But wanting to establish a tech startup around a community, around people that are going to embrace first time and new experiences. I'm a psych major. I know that they have to be primed for it. So if they're coming to a location, that's what's on their mind, then it's going to appeal to them. So I moved to Las Vegas with the vision that someday people are going to get off the plane and it's going to say, welcome to Las Vegas. What first time you experience do you want to have? Download the 365 First Challenge app. So I realized I needed to create an app. I never created an app. So that was the first time a new experience that had, that cost me some money because I didn't know what I was doing. And I made some mistakes, even though I did a lot of research and I talked to people and I educated myself, but it's something that I have obviously embraced that about first time a new experience. And it's something that you all should embrace. When you do something for the first time, it might feel very awkward. You might make a complete fool out of yourself. It might absolutely not work out. But that's fine. Still enjoy the process of doing something that you've never done before. Learn from it and gather that knowledge experience from it. So, and the app was released in December of 2019. And then, we all know what happened with 2020. So as of right now, when you get off the plane in Las Vegas, it does not say that, but it will someday say that. But when we got into COVID, as a good entrepreneur, you got to be able to shift, pivot, and take the situation and make the best out of it. So one of the things I had done when I first started the 365 First Challenge was start the 365 First podcast. Now, I had never done podcasting before. However, I had been a radio host. I had, way back in the day when I was in New Orleans, I was on an AM station. So I'm like, all right, let me check out this whole podcasting thing. So I bought a mic, again, just educating myself on YouTube. What do I need to do this? Plug it, buy it, and figure it out. Well, it took me 6 hours to record 20 minutes the first go round. I have since then improved on that time because I was like, well, this is not going to be efficient to be that way. But again, when you do something for the first time, you don't know how. You get better at it the more you do it. So now on the podcast, I always had the intention of having other people come share their first time stories. So when COVID hit and we're in the situation where people are having a tough time connecting and because they're away from each other, I'm like, well, let me give people the opportunity to tell their first time stories because it's a great way to share with others who you are. So I created the first time storytelling broadcast and I'm like, okay, I decided I'm doing this. And pretty much like the next week, I'm like Monday through Friday at 9 a.m, I'm going to go live on Facebook. Didn't have any guests. So I'm like messaging a bunch of people. I'm like, hey, do you want to come share a first time story? And so eventually I got all booked up. And then I realized, people are not very good storytellers. So that led to creating a little short course to just educate people on it. The course moved into a book, and then the book got into a bigger course, and then a new brand to my business. So I had the 365 First Challenge. I added the first time storytelling to the business, and one of the things, so I've done a lot of business to consumer, B2C, and that can be challenging. It can be tough. And I hadn't stepped in the B2B world, business to business. So when I did the first time storytelling, I established some business to business aspects to it, because I'm like, let me, again, step into something new. And my background is in the Marine Corps. I don't have any corporate experience, so it's being a Marine and being an entrepreneur. Those are the two things that I know. So I added things that are going to push me to learn. And I'm still learning a lot about sales. But as I'm building this, I'm creating different funnels. I know, Kanika, you want to get more into that. But the other branch of the company that also got started in COVID was Next Level First Coaching. So because I started another course other than storytelling, the Maximize your journey, your journey, first time and your experiences, created a journal, wrote that up, wrote another course. And so, I think having multiple courses, books, giveaways, and all of that, it takes a lot of time to create all that content, but it's very important to have that content. And then YouTube, podcasting, and doing classes on Zoom and all of that to just feed the funnel. So can you know if you want to get to more specifics?
No, wait, that's awesome. So I love that story, and I love that you are one of those people that's just going to dig in and figure it out. Because a lot of times we decide that we want to do something, and we're like, okay, well, I'm going to learn about it. I'm going to learn all I can before I start. And a lot of people, never get started because they're stuck in that information gathering phase and they don't try it. You're not going to know everything before you start. The important thing is actually to learn enough to get going and just get going, just get started. And you're going to make mistakes, but you're also going to learn. And, as you said, God puts, when you get on the path, God puts what you need on your path to help you. So a lot of times, if you get started, you will find the people that will help you out. Example, with your podcast, you will find the people that give you the ideas that you need to keep going. But you have to get started. So I love that you're not afraid to just actually go out there and do it. Just make it happen. Very nice.
Yeah, we have an
And I
expression.
also,
Sorry, we have
yeah,
an
go ahead.
expression in the military, and it's you build a plane while you're flying it. So
Exactly. And I love that you have that big vision of, having your app available when people get off the plane. I think eventually we're all going to, it looks like it's kind of ramping up. We're all going to be able to get on planes again and go places and see things and experience things. So I feel like you're kind of poised there for that takeoff, as everything starts reopening and we try to get back to somewhat normal like we were in 2019 and beyond.
yeah, and it's beyond, like, so and the vision, like, there's no way I could come up with this vision, right? So one of the things that's very different as an entrepreneur now than it was before is that ultimately this is all in God's hands. It's not on me to make these things happen. It's on me to take the steps and make the effort each and every
Right.
day. And and obviously prayer is part of my morning routine, but it's part of that vision. And it's like, when I'm doing the vision, I see the doors that are closed and I turn those doors over to God. It's like, you got to open these up. I
Right.
I honestly do not, I think you have to be comfortable, and that's part of creating with life and, whatever belief that you have. You have to be comfortable with the fact that you don't know how this next thing is going to pan out. But when the time comes, when it's right, it's going to happen. It's going to open up, and there are people around you that's going to make them very nervous. So I have lived my life this. I have lived a very unconventional life. I have I've been in places where I thought, if I die here, it's going to take people a while to find my body. I hope they go get my dog. So, because I've gone to very remote places by myself. But my family's always been good with that. But the one thing that makes people nervous, and right now my stepmom and my dad are nervous about it. They're like, you know, where are you ensuring that you're getting all the income that you need? That because I'm walking, and it's one of those things. Sometimes things work out and you get the money that you need, sometimes that you don't, and that can make people very nervous. But it's just like, I have to walk in faith. I have to believe in the vision that I have and what I'm doing, and manifesting those things and not coming from a place of fear. Those things take a lot of energy, actually, to focus on those things. So sometimes people are like, well, you're not doing anything. I'm like, I might not be doing anything online, but trust me, I'm doing a lot of mental work
Right.
to
Right.
stay in a healthy, strong place. So, understand what you need to do these things, and do them, and try to bring that comfort to other people who you make them nervous because of what you do, but don't let them like stop you from doing what you need to do.
And I have a question for you. That's great, by the way.
Thank you. I'm sorry,
What's your why? You know,
what's my
most entrepreneurs or people in general should have a reason why they are doing what they're doing, because as you just talked about, when the going gets tough, you need to be able to have something that you tap into, like your reason for continuing, and not like going back into the Marine Corps or going to get a job at Starbucks or something like that. But what drives you? What is your why for doing what you're doing?
Fabulous question. So the big why is that I want to help raise human potential. I think as the human race, we've moved forward in tremendous ways when it comes to technology and the employment of technology. But as human beings and individuals, we're still living the same loops. Everyone's still getting trapped in the same loops, and that's keeping us from advancing
Mm.
as humans. So, I do want to get to the point where people don't have to rewrite their entire childhood in order to move ahead, to where not only do we do that faster, but we're better parents, we're better equipped, and there's so much information that's available to be able to do that. But there has to be the desire to do that. And for me, what the 365 First Challenge app will eventually be about is that it's going to be the ultimate self-development app, because you're the sum of your experiences, and everything that you did started with the first time. And to become who you always wanted to be, you have to do what you've never done before. So it all ties to first times and new experiences. And it has to be fun, which means you need to be able to trigger the right neurochemicals in your brain. And, you have to have the right community, the right encouragement. So I want to help raise human potential. Now, on a more day-to-day level, it's what I love to do. Like people need to understand, like you need to be able to exist in multiple state. I'm at peace. I'm filled with joy and happiness. I'm very content, but I want more, right? I love who I am, but I want to continue to grow. So you have to exist in these different states. And I know that and 2 weeks ago, I was offered a job, and it makes a lot of sense for me to get a job right now. I'm not going to lie. But I'm like, that's going to make me unhappy and miserable. It's going to depress me, even if I do all my good routine and all my good stuff, because I'm day to day, I'm not going to be moving towards the vision and the purpose that God gave me. Let me go ahead and trust God. He gave me this purpose. He gave me this vision. I need to trust him with it.
That's excellent. Yeah, very nice. So, with all the things that you've got going on, how do you balance it all? How do you keep on top of all the things that you've got going on and making sure that you're not being stretched too thin in any one place?
That is an excellent question, and one that's probably one of the biggest thing that I struggle with. You know, as a visionary, it's great to be in creative mode, and then you have to really to get things happen. You have to be in action mode. You have to be in
Mhm.
execution mode, and the way that I do it, because I have the different brands and the different things going on, I prioritize like what's the highest priority right now.
Mhm.
And so based off of that, during the day, I'll stay focused on one thing for a little bit. And the other thing is that if you do stay focused, there's so much that you can accomplish, right? You can do so much in 1 hour. If you're truly committed and focused and not distracted in that 1 hour, you can achieve a lot. So I have the priorities and what areas, they need to be done. And then I get those things done. If I don't get it done, I don't beat myself up. I don't stress about it. I don't, right? So, stress kills creativity,
Yeah.
makes you lose your hair, makes you gain weight, and it's all in all not good for you. So, one of the things that I do is I don't stress because I'm still in the place where I'm trusting, the process.
Mhm.
So, if I'm in the creative place, then that energy needs to be spent in that creative way. And so, a lot I listen to a lot of podcasts, and a lot will counter what I do. But one of the things that I've learned is there's no one size fits all, right?
Right.
So you need to know you. You need to know how you best operate. And then again, you need to trust yourself. So I'll hear certain things from people like, well, you have to do this. And it's like, well, that's never worked for me, but doing this always has. So why
Mhm.
would I change my methodology, right? I stay open-minded, right? Can I improve my process in the way that I
Right.
do this? But then what is my flow? So I always stay in tune to my gut and my flow without stressing things. And at the end of the day, it usually all gets done. And if it doesn't, then I have to ask myself, should I continue this? Right. So I'll constantly, unfortunately, sometimes too many, pick up new project, and when they don't pan out, then I have to ask myself, is that a closed door? Is that I'm missing something, right? So sometimes that gets tricky. So praying about it is the key, and I'm like, all right, well, the answer come. Or if it really doesn't move, then I know I used to I used to will my way and try to push everything through, and that made me so miserable, and that created, being depressed and being in a dark place. Now I'm like, let me go with the flow. If it doesn't flow, let it go.
All
Ooh,
right.
rhyme.
Right. If it doesn't flow, let it go.
Let it go.
Yeah, that's great.
Excellent.
So, oh, go ahead.
You go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Oh, okay. I was just going to say that um, I think that from my experience, trying to, I'm a A-type personality too, and trying to like push things and make them happen, and it's like having like tunnel vision, like you can only have success this one way. It's very it's frustrating, and it is very discouraging. And what I've learned is that I had to let go of the resistance, the resistance to what um, what God or the universe or is trying to bring to me, because I think that it's supposed to come one way through this channel. But in
Mhm.
terms of like, being open and being, much more, like you said, like let it flow, it's been so much more peaceful. And it's like I just move and I just flow and just, and I just grow and I just move forward and I get stuff done. And it's amazing. And I think that as you bring it up, it's like that's been very good for me as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah, because type A personalities die younger, so we we, we gotta be careful. We are powerful entities, but our power is much better utilized when it's the right, like, we waited and now it's like, okay, you're turned on, go. And then we give it what we're made of. Absolutely. That's awesome.
And I also think that it for me, I'm not speaking for anyone else, but it's kind of like what I thought that was necessary, and it's like you have to put force behind. And I don't know if it's like something that maybe the media or society or or maybe people from my childhood. Maybe I saw somebody really get good results being that way, you know. But I really love being. I take that time to like just silence my thoughts, and it really takes away that anxiety, that fear, and like I'm able to really navigate, and I can go with my intuition, and how things are feeling. And it's crazy because I was kind of like raised or made to believe that we shouldn't be guided by our feelings, but I find that to be very much not true.
Yeah. But I would definitely say it's a different kind of feeling because when you're sitting in that peace, it's not like we don't feel, they still, some of the other feelings still come up, but we choose to stay at peace. Like the storm can still be brewing, the challenges are still there. And part of it too is that you embrace the challenges, right? So when there's an actual challenge, it puts you in motion. So it's understanding all the different states and who you are within those states. It is so critical, and it sounds to me like for me it has changed the exact same way, and it's so much nicer to be content and at peace no matter what is going around, and that it's not up to us. Like it really is not up to us to make things happen. It is up to us to be responsible for what we do, to take actions when we're called to. But at the end of the day, we can't change the world. Like we're we're but mere humans.
Right. Wow. So this has been a very powerful session. And just to summarize with Anne, she's taking her knowledge and she's taking her why, and she's created different platforms and different mediums to get the word out. So she's got courses, she's got a book, she's got a podcast, YouTube, all of that. And she's using the knowledge, the same base of knowledge, to create all of these things. And these are all potential ways that people can reach her, that people can connect with her. And these are all potential income streams for her. So, in essence, this is what we try to convey to our audience, is that you can take that knowledge that you have and you can do a multitude of different things and generate income from it and get the word out. So I really appreciate you, Anne, for being able to talk to us today. I've learned a lot about you. Like I said, she does these networking events, and I will be speaking at one in the future, but I'm looking forward to attending again because I had such a good experience connecting with other people, and we're all virtual, but it still kind of felt like we were together more so, like we were in a conference room or something like that. So, um, thank
And
you
I just want to
again.
say to Kanika,
Yes.
that was very powerful feedback from her because it reaffirmed like what I know the power of first time storytelling to be. So, it is, it went in my gratitude journal, the feedback from Kanika went to my gratitude journal because it did. It meant the world to me. And again, you know, will a big contract or making lots of money confirm that I'm on the right track? Yes. But am I going to appreciate that if I can appreciate the little things, the precious thing of someone, reaffirming what I know to be the truth, right? So for me, there's as much gratitude and joy in that, and that is what is going to attract the bigger thing, is because
Right.
that gratitude and joy and then the little things. So
Right.
I thank you very much. And look, and I got the invitation to come here, and I got to meet her mom and sister, and and it's just, and this has been an empowering time with you all. And you that's that flow. Where does it go, where does it lead you, and you embrace it.
And
Right.
before we sign off, can you tell me like what tell me about your app. Tell me about like what I can expect to experience by downloading your app.
So unfortunately, right now it might not work for you. So it might not be a good experience. So um, it needs to be it needs to be reprogrammed. But here's what will happen in the next iteration. When you download it, you create your profile and you select. There's 30 categories from you to select from that you want to have first times in your experience. So everything from food, sports, outdoor, arts and craft, music, you name it, right? 30 categories you pick. And then you start swiping. It brings up random first times, and then you start swiping. So you swipe up if it's something you've done before. You swipe right if something that you've never done, would like to do. And then it's going to ask you, okay, do you want to do this in 7, 30, 45 days? You're going to assign a timeline to it. And then you swipe left if you're not interested. And then it's going to be location based. So wherever you happen to be, whatever you swipe right on, if you're near being able to do that, it's going to assist you to follow through and having your first time in your experiences and connecting with a
Ah,
community that thinks the same and that also wants to, join you and do those things. And then you'll be able to, right there in the app, buy your tickets and go do it. And I want, there'll be a news feed, but it's going to be a very, it's going to be inspiration, assistance, and it's going to be very specific news feed, to where again you're either inspiring somebody to go, step out of their comfort zone, face their fears, be spontaneous in having their first time in your experience, or you're sharing your first time in your experience, or you're sharing like wisdom about how to do it. So it's all about supporting you to be able to do that. And then in the future, once I get machine learning and AI attached to it, then it's going to start give you a picture of all the things that you've done, all the character traits and the personality trait that's helped you develop. And then it'll become a tool that you can employ to continue to grow your personality traits and character traits. And yeah, so big, big vision for it. And it's definitely going to be, when you land in the city, whatever the top 10 first time you experience for that city, you can be like, yep, let's download them, buy your ticket, get out there and get it done and connect with people. And then afterwards, share your stories.
That is an awesome idea.
Yeah,
I
and
don't know
I
how
see
you
why you
Yeah.
came
picked
up with
Vegas.
that.
Yeah, I see Vegas makes a lot of
Yeah.
sense when you
Uh-huh.
break that down. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
perfect.
Thank
Oh.
you, ladies. Yeah. So the
Definitely.
vision is start bringing the community and raise the money and get the next version of the app out there and just continue to expand and to grow from there. But be in the service of people, maximizing what they get out of life through first times and new experiences.
Very cool.
Cool, very
Cool.
cool.
Hmm.
All right. All
Any
right.
recommendations?
I'm gonna do, we got about 5 minutes left. Wouldn't be a session without a little pitch at the end. We are going to start our mastermind for 2021-22 next month. This is a year-long opportunity to build your business with a network of support. We are offering accountability, training, the opportunity to grow your e-commerce business. This is where you can support other women and be supported. We are going to have we have 5 or 6 spots available, and we're going to grow together. We're going to build our businesses up together, and this is going to be a tight-knit network of support for you as an entrepreneur. So if this is something that you are interested in, I am actually going to put the application form in the chat, and you can fill that out and submit that, and we will evaluate that and let you know if we can accept you into the group for the year. All right. That's going to do it for today's session. Thank you, everyone, for attending. If you're watching this on the replay, give us some love. Let us know what you think. And post in our Facebook group. If you're already a group member, sign up for our email. Um, do all of that. Have a wonderful evening and the rest of the week. And we will talk to you next week. Thanks, everyone.
Bye.